health and conditions. Oh, gosh, I got a heart issue. I got a slight head injury over to this side. Doctors are still like to check to see if they can find the secrets of the universe. No, seriously, to see if, because a £50 JBL speaker fell on my head there. Plus, that was the last time. Plus, before that was I closed down the bonnet on the car and the damn thing hit me on the head because I didn't clear out the way. And head injury to this side here. When I had a blackout and realised I was having a seizure and trying to stop myself because I had no idea how long I'd been blacked out for and how long I'd been banging my head against a concrete floor. Heart issue, had a stent fitted, I've had recent heart, that was 2015. The blackout I think was around about 2016 or 2017. But I've had more than just one blackout. I've lost count how many blackouts I've had in the well over 10, and that's not good. Anyway, okay, move on to the next. Tinnitus. I've had that since 1979. No thanks to Battlestar Galactica sensor around 120 to 130 dB. Probably the most intense use of sensor around for a 120-minute movie. Same running time as roughly Earthquake, 1970, February 1975. I think Battlestar was around about the summertime of 79. Not sure if it was September or August. And then noticed this every time, mostly in the evening, because during the day the sounds around me would be a little bit loud. The tinnitus level was this hissing sound, which is very difficult sometimes for most people to understand or think, oh yeah, I know everything, yeah, right. I read the research and I read that you could put headphones on and then use pink or white noise, narrow band the frequency so it's very tiny, so it's not wideband full range, like, you just narrow it down until it goes kind of like what I'm articulating, with and it's centered and narrowed around a certain frequency, and it's just always the same sound. Could be set around between 7 to 8 kilohertz, 7 to 8 or 9 kilohertz. It's somewhere in that range. It can't be any more higher. Other people say it's in your mind. Of course it's in your mind. Your mind's receiving the signal from the damage that's probably done in the inner ear with the hair, the little hair cells. Just as I'll go on to the next other thing about, and that's maybe going down into the DNA, and that's been subjected to very high SPL level, due to maybe the makeup of the individual, the genes, the cells, etc. I'm not a doctor, but then again, most doctors probably don't even have tinnitus, so they wouldn't have a clue what it feels like to climb the wall sometimes. But you could climb the wall, you could have a very bad burn to your face, and then in a couple of months something starts flaring up, and then you think, oh, you creams, but you don't know it's going to really flare up. It flares up. It's called psoriasis. Since my heart issue, again, I had another heart issue with my heart chamber. That was last year, December. I didn't even know something was happening or occurring again. I thought I was just feeling ill. I caught a bug or something. I really did thought I did. It could have been a bug and contributed my heart issue, my heart chamber. Whereas I couldn't even, where I'm now laying down, I couldn't even lay down like this during through December into January. Uh, um, because my lungs were filling up with fluid. So that's like, say, the lung. There's like you or I standing vertically, and if you go horizontal, that fluid's going to be like that position, and it causes something to cause a breathless or kind of like you haven't got enough air intake, and you got to go up vertical to stand upright. I lost at least 7 hours sleep each night. I could only lay down on my side in kind of agony, because also when coughing, it really hurt around here. That gradually dissipated, because you're and doing that, you're building up pressures, and muscles move and can be very, ouch. Contraction and expansion, kind of like wood on a door during the seasons, and the wood expanding and then shrinking and such, and we get irritated. We think, that irritates me. You want to sand it down or make an improvement to that door so it closes smoothly, opens smoothly, the hinges don't creak and all that. And that's just like the body in some way. It creaks. We sense it. Our mind is receiving. It's like a bus logic control, and it's receiving all the impulses that are, I suppose, then converted into electrical signals, and then the mind receives it. But the tinnitus? Crikey. Yeah, those are my conditions, and which would I like to trade? That's a difficult thing. Well, the heart's very paramount. The mind is paramount. A head injury to the head, and the heart. Shoot. That's a tough decision. Oh, gosh. I don't drink. I don't smoke. Just sort of get a little overweight. But that weight could be burnt off through doing the same routine exercise. Until you just burn off the fat, and then you just notice it just coming off gradually. You weigh yourself and you notice it's coming off, and you got to do other exercise, to sort of like gradually it will come off. So there's a hallelujah. There's a cure for that. But tinnitus, the damage is not the tinnitus, the psoriasis. The damage is done with that, because that's exposure to the sun, to the face, and that's damaged the my DNA cells, or anyone else's. It's damaged the DNA cells, and that cannot be reached. That is just one place where medicine can't reach to fix it, to cure, to repair the damage. It's so complex, and I don't think I'd want to some doctor going in there meddling around, and then it makes something even worse. Or frankly, with this, it makes my skin crawl. I just got to live with this, and this has just flared up even more since since the heart issue last year. The heart issues has caused, and probably the medication has caused this to flare up because it's in the DNA. My whole body's a psoriasis. And I've been for treatment with it. I've had treatment. I've had lotions, creams. I've had UV light. It just bothers me, even if I want to go out this summertime. I've got to keep wrapped up mostly, but it just still bothers me because I don't really like the sun coming directly toward me. It's caused this because I couldn't foresee it. The doctors also explained that it's possible you had it through childhood, like everyone. You have it through childhood, and it's just remained dormant, asleep. And all it's taken is just one thing to arise it, awaken it. And that was just probably maybe less than an hour, or maybe an hour exposure to the sun between 11 and 2 p.m. at the Port Le Havre at France, because I could have gone on an excursion with my parents, my dad, and students, and gone around the island, and therefore I'd be moving around in shadow and light, and be changing and such, rather than laying there totally exhausted, because I stay up all night on the ferry, and I'm too exhausted to walk around the island. And I say, oh crikey, I'll just stay here, wait for you to come back. But yeah, I fell asleep. I didn't think to myself, like, pull my coat over me and shield myself, because the sun's up there. It's like you have a fried egg. You want a perfect egg that's white, yolk and white. You don't want it being there until it's absolute burnt, and crispy, and it's like, I don't like the taste of that. I don't like the look of that. So it's not whether a case of I like the taste of it. I don't like the look of it because it's very discomforting. It can be very fatiguing. It slows me down, just as there's my heart going not at the right rate, and I'm thinking it's getting a little bit better with the medication. Yeah, I can go and get creams again and put Dovanex, or mostly Dovanex, or the other one is coal tar. I can't go through that again. I can't apply it. That stuff has got to be applied on me by someone, and I just can't deal with it. I can't deal with the pressures of the when you have coal tar put on you. It's very cold. It comes out of fridge, and it goes in. You start off in 5%, then goes 10, 15, and so on. It goes up in 5 percentage steps at a time. So 5, 10, 15, 20, goes up to 50%. That's the max level of it. If a regular person, normal, had 50% coal tar put on their arm, say in this area here, right, and went out in the sun for about less than an hour, you'll be running back in climbing the bloody walls, and you're going to be looking for the nearest bloody thing. Bag of ice. Because it would feel exactly, it's going to feel like you got hot cooking oil splashed over your arm. You know, well, that'd be bloody stupid if that happens in the kitchen. Usually it's little spits, you know, that come out and they hit our skin and, ooh, ouch, you know. Just like solder sometimes, or, you know, it hurts. But if you had a bloody amount of cooking oil out of a frying pan about that much, sort of, that's going to bloody extremely bloody well hurt. You'll be climbing the wall. And you think, yeah, it was cold when it was put, and now it's bloody burning my arm. Yeah, so it's put on in small steps, and yeah, it's very warm at first. It's cold, and then it starts warming up at 5%, and then you go in the next day, because your skin and that, your body has tolerated that, and then you go in and, you know, oh, I can't deal with that. Plus the smell of it, you got to wear the most crappy clothes. You can't wear any decent clothes for months. I mean that. You can't wear any decent clothing. You got to wear the most crappy looking clothes you've got, and it just feels demoralising. Oh, having to deal with it. I think I'd like to trade the bloody psoriasis with between the tinnitus and the psoriasis. I'd rather trade the bloody psoriasis because it's freaking all over me. Tinnitus is just up here, but the mind. Now think about it. Psychologically, the mind is being taxied with the pressures of like tinnitus because it's sensing it down on my legs, my body, it's all over. And yet, the tinnitus, at first, most people might think, where the bloody hell's that sound coming from? I don't know. You know, they don't know it's in your ear, in her ear. That's what at first I thought when I heard it at night time, because the sound pressure, the noise level, the floor faded down, and I'm noticing this, and I was kind of really excited, thinking, wow, what is that? It's not until you get into the 1990s, and I'm taking a little bit more note of it, and I asked a doctor, and it said, sounds like to me it sounds like what you're describing to me. It sounds like tinnitus. What is that? He explains, and the simple answer was there is no cure for it. There is no solution. There are remedies that can give you a little relief, but there's no actual, because the damage is totally done already. So it'd be the same if I had not pulled my eye away from the telescope within less than 1 second, because I forgot to put the sun filter on the eyepiece on the telescope. There's a filter that goes on it, and you thread the filter on there, and then you can look at the sun. Preferably, it's better to look at the sun with the light going onto a piece of cardboard. That way, it's guaranteed more safe, because also if you're looking at it, you're going to get a bit of radiation or such, and just a brief like that, like, oh crikey, you actually feel the heat literally on your eye. It's not uniform over your whole body like when you go outside and you feel the uniformity of the sun. Oh no, boom, literally like, oh damn, focused heat. And that resulted in 8.5 minutes of temporary blindness. So that cleared, that came back. It's just the same as you go into a room, and there might be a little bit of ambient light coming from a window at night time, but you turn the bright light off in the room, and suddenly it's just complete pitch darkness, because the trick is close your eye first, and then turn the light off, because you know you're going to turn the light, because your eyes then will give just a few more seconds to adjust to the light level in the room. Otherwise, it takes just a few more seconds extra longer. That's it. That's it. That's nothing much more there to say about condition. I can't. I don't. So in a sense, I've got skin cancer. I've got cancer. It's psoriasis. It's and at the moment it pinches down here. It's pinching on the side, and just got a little, give it a little rub. But you can't really dig into it with your nails and that. Rubbing it, like that. There's nothing wrong in that. Crikey! But it's when we get, sometimes I got to remind, no, don't use the thing. Just do it with that, because if I do it with the thing, it makes it even worse. And going back to the creams and such, the Dovinax, that's just like a steroid, and that can thin and weaken the skin, so it makes the skin a bit more less robust, I guess. That's but generally the creams. Really, they're two types. There's a creamy cream, and then there's a transparent cream, or lotion, which is the Dovinax. And then there's the Kotar, which is a kind of thick, kind of browny. I tell you, it looks so tempting. You want to eat it when it comes out of the fridge and see it. It looks like toffee ice cream. To a child, this is why fridges have to stay closed. Otherwise, a child would go in there and think, "Oh, wow, ice cream." yeah, yeah. You get the idea. That's not toffee ice cream, and I think, oh gosh, depending on what percentage you stick in your mouth, makes my skin crawl, because if that starts burning on you, yeah. So it's yes, I can't say the word dealing with. I've been dealing with it. I'm really bloody angry with how you can't foresee it. And anyone else that talks to you about, oh yeah, blah 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 blah, they don't have it. Oh, if they said, oh, I had it at one time, it was a little bit on my elbow or this or that. You haven't had it. Count yourself lucky, because you don't know what it's like to climb the walls with this bloody psoriasis sometimes. When it gets really bad and you think, yeah, you got to do something about it. But in the past, I slowed down and stopped taking the Dovinax, because you only get so much in a tube, and you got to put it on very thinly. Don't put it on very thick, and just rub it around, and you might as well just be in a bloody Dovinax bath or something, or a Dovinax shower, because you need to. Oh, I don't know. Makes me feel uncomfortable, because it's the mind. It's psychological. But as for the tinnitus thing again, the mind is receiving it, and it's the damage is, there's like, I think the cochlea thing, and there's the eardrum, boom 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 boom, and it's going again. And you got these little, very fragile bones, and they send the signals down into here, and you got little hairs going round in there like grass outside, and if they got severely damaged, they don't regenerate, they don't regrow. and you lose certain high frequency sounds. Oh, someone will say, oh yeah, I can hear a high frequency. It depends on which high frequencies you can hear, because there are a lot of them. And I got this friend that says sometimes, he's not really interested in the science and things. I couldn't even indulge him to say, sit here, come round, sit here, put on the headphones, and I'm going to check through, see what hearing. It's not a case of, oh, I'm hearing better than you. I'm a bit more trained in certain things or what to listen to for. But he might hear sound. It'd be just the same ignorance if I would say, Dad, can I put a headphone, and then see where it, because obviously it's bothering you at the moment, so I'll just check it. Because if you go to a doctor, they're not going to give you at least an hour of their time to do an examination. You probably have to go to an audiologist, and you may just get an hour. I like to get more than an hour attention to my heart issue and the rest of my medical condition to see if I am tip top. That if I move in a certain way, the dynamic pressures on the body, the heart, the blood pressure, etc., etc. I need to look at all those variables. The tinnitus would be least of my worries. If you get a deep sleep, you don't notice it. If you get intoxicated and you doze off, you got blaring sound all around you. Guess what? You're oblivious to it. You don't even notice it until you come conscious, and then you're aware of it because you go unconscious because you're intoxicated. As well as the intoxication affects the ear balance. That's why you wobble around when you're walking, because it's affecting your ear balance and you can't balance and stabilize yourself. But heart, well, that's very, because that has to function all over, and it's like experiencing near death with blackouts, and I've lost count how many I've had. I've had well over 10, but not any so recent, where I had this tummy issue starting in the tummy, and it works its way up, and then once it kicks in, it's sending my on my ECG monitor, it's sending my heart rate going from a normal boop 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 to a boop 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 boop. It's going like that. Oh, that was a very good articulation. Like, yeah, it should be boop 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 boop. It should be like a triangle going up down per second per second per second. Even in this position that I'm in at the moment and talking fast, it should have that signature. But at the moment, because the heart and the rate and everything else is, it's like electronics, and it's like a capacitor. It needs, it's leaking or it's doing something. It's giving a erratic electrical signal, which is what ECG things are. They're just like a modified version of an oscilloscope, which is looking for bios, the body's you place them, and they pick up electrical signals. All that came from the mind, free mind. All that came from with thinking, invention, dreaming, and just to make things better, maybe improve. Hey, that's that. End of. I'll maybe do another one. This is 30 minutes almost, crying out loud.